letdown that Book 2 Spirits left off with, I am content with how action-packed Book 3 Change was, because parts of this season really made up for the issues I had with the previous season that came before Book 3 Change. And for the rest of the series, starting off with Book 3 Change, the animation is done by Studio Mir, and it looks much better than most of what was presented in Book 2 Spirits. And I also think Book 3 Change displays the best animation presented in The Legend of Korra. My favorite antagonist in The Legend of Korra has always been Amon, and that's because he had a bit of a backstory, and he actually was quite a force to be reckoned with. Zahir is another force that is to be reckoned with, and he's by far a lot more memorable too, unlike Unalaq from Book 2 Spirits. If only Zahir was the main antagonist for the remainder of this series, because it would have been great if he was the main antagonist for Book 4 as well. But no, much like the previous two seasons, this pretty much establishes that The Legend of Korra has a villain per season, whereas Avatar The Last Airbender always had one central main antagonist, the Fire Lord. It's a shame that Brian Konietzko and Michael Dante DiMartino, being the showrunners of Avatar The Last Airbender, had their villains planned out, and yet they're just coming out with new villains every season. They had the advantage of having Zahir stick around as the main antagonist for the remainder of the series to make up the second half of The Legend of Korra. But no, they didn't. And I'll go more into why I'm disappointed as to why Zahir is not the main antagonist for the rest of the series when I talk about Book 4. Now, I do have a bit of a focus issue in regards to Book 3 Change in terms of plot. Certain characters that now suddenly have bending have higher priority over characters that have already been established in previous seasons. If there's one character I wish had more development to him, was Mako, because he becomes less worth watching as the show progresses. It's kind of interesting that I actually like watching Mako in earlier seasons of The Legend of Korra. And I get it. The reason there's a focus on certain characters having not bended before can suddenly bend was because of harmonic convergence at the end of Book 2 Spirits. But still, it would have been great if certain other characters had more screen time than just being sidelined. And again, this is also due to the issue of The Legend of Korra's pacing overall as a television series. It doesn't have the same kind of pacing as Avatar The Last Airbender, and it should have had that kind of pacing. The Legend of Korra Book 3 Change does end on a memorable downer note that actually made me look forward to Book 4. More on that next time. While heavily action-packed, Book 3 Change made up for Book 2 Spirits. I'm going to be shooting an 8 out of 10 for The Legend of Korra Book 3 Change. I'll be meditating for my next review, so until then, I'll see you later.